Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in for this evening session, seminar. So today the topic for today's session is how COVID-19 can change the way we work in the future. And for this, we have Mr. Shekhar to guide us on. So I'll just speak a little about Mr. Shekhar. So Mr. Shekhar is Senior General Manager, Organizational Development, Amaraja Group. He is a postgraduate in Business Administration with Human Resources as a specialization. He is trained at IIM Ahmedabad on Strategic HR Management. He has an Honours Diploma in Information Systems Management, has undergone extensive training in transactional analysis under International Transactional Analysis Association and Transactional Analysis for Organization Development. He is trained as a facilitator in advanced behavioral areas by International Facilitators Association, Singapore. He is a Business Excellence Assessor in CII Exim Bank Business Excellence Model and has been part of many assessments on behalf of CII. He started his career in Taj Group of Hotels in the HR function. He trained to be a facilitator in Tata Business Excellence Model. In his next role in OD Consulting and Training, he has worked with more than 40 corporate organizations in designing performance management systems, competence mapping and assessment centers, behavioral training programs, and change management processes. He has extensive experience in organization culture building, large-scale training programs, leadership development, change management, talent acquisition, and strategic HRM. He has been chosen as one of the 100 most influential leaders by Employer Branding Institute in 2016. He is on the Academic Council of a reputed B school. Presently, as a Senior General Manager, he is heading the Organization Development, Learning and Development and Talent Acquisition for the Amaraja Group and is heading HR for 4 companies in the group. We welcome you, sir. We can start with the session.
Thank you very much, Sagarika. That's an extensive introduction. Thanks a lot for, first of all, inviting me, and I hope everybody in your family and yourself are all safe and safe and healthy. Hope you've not ventured out and you are very much at home. And so we'll be talking. This is an interesting subject, and I must submit that the whole thing is evolving. There'll be 3 types of workforce we see. Physical workforce, which has to come to office or a work location and do work, maybe 100% or maybe in different frequencies. Remote workforce. This is a reality. Earlier, an exception, that the percentage of people working remotely were less. Now that is also going to be kind of mainstream. Then the gig workforce. From time to time, we have spoken about the gig workforce. I've spoken about freelancers. There are some industries, some nature of some type of works. Slowly, it was becoming popular. Now, that's another thing which is likely to become mainstream. Now, you have an organization, you have physical workforce, remote workforce, and gig workforce, all of them working together and enabling productivity and bringing in the results for the organization. Now, imagine what changes that a manager has to go through. Imagine what kind of changes the leader has to go through. But imagine the kind of changes as the systems in the organizations have to go through. If you look at it, physical workforce, again about people, remote, again people, gig workforce, again about people. So everything is centering around people and people. So this is the key now, right? Now, the entire organization is going to be, we are going to have machineries in a manufacturing setup, machineries at one place, some people there, and there's a lot of people floating everywhere else. So many other places. Now we need to manage that as an organization. It's very flexible. It's not a composite work location where everybody come there, works, go back. It's not going to be like that anymore, right? So therefore, there's a lot of reinventing of people and practices that we need to do in this setup. First of we need to develop so that the manager or the organization understands what are the expectations of the people. Second, we need to also train the managers and leaders to manage this new situation. It's a completely new thing. So how are we going to manage organization? Right? It's not going to happen in a day. There is going to be a long effort that is required, and different steps have to be at different stages. And as HR professionals, we have to have that competence if we have to be successful in this environment. The second one is about virtual time for managing our own teams and training the line leaders to manage their teams. Counseling. So now, so far we have had counseling maybe as in the say 12th in the competency list or 13 in the competency list. But now here, this is going to become important because we are going to have three types of workforce, right? And physical workforce, gig, remote, and they will all have different kind of problems. And if we have to manage that, we need to understand them, understand what's going on in their world. If we have to motivate that person and get them to be productive the way we want. So counseling one-on-one is going to be a key competence that we need to develop. Design thinking, I don't have to emphasize much because it is an evolving situation, and any system that we develop, be it a performance appraisal system or a communication system or a training or even attendance tracking system, all this we need to follow or adopt design thinking principles if we have to quickly move over to the new system, or if we have to quickly develop a new system. That's going to be required, especially because we are not seeing each other in one place. We have to be tech savvy. It's a no-brainer. Everybody has to quickly become tech savvy. Communication is going to be critical. This was always a critical competence, but now across levels, across mediums, right? Now, how are we communicating? Through an SMS, through email, through phone, through your other modes, social media? All that is going to be very, very critical. Wellness and well-being. Now, this was at a higher order in the earlier scheme of things. Now it is no more, right? And we have to look at people wellness and well-being as one of the critical things of say you set objectives, and say, to give a very crude example, if you are setting objectives and targets to achieve sales, you also have to probably set some targets for the employee's wellness. And you need to have some targets within yourself to ensure that you do certain things which will make sure that person is properly taken care of, right? And this is not, it doesn't end there. You also have to know whether that person is doing good or not. So we need to have those mechanisms as well. Coaching, yes, you have to coach your colleagues. We have to coach your line leaders, line managers, and everyone. Public relations, it's going to be a key competence henceforth, because you have your people mixed and somewhere there, everywhere in the entire population. All these competencies, I think one core value that all of us must have, right, which will help us to build our competencies in all these dimensions and many more dimensions. There is one competency, that one value that we must have, we must imbibe, we must internalize, and we should have that coming in from deep within, from each one of us. So what is that one core value for you? That one core value for you is empathy. So please remember, empathy is one core value that all of us must have in order to get out of, in order to be successful as a HR professional, especially in these trying times.
That was an amazing talk, Mr. Shekhar. Really, really enjoyed the ideas that you have shared and the commendable efforts made by Amar Raja Group to
Thank
support
you.
the community. And I think I can't agree more when you said empathy is the key competency or the key quality as HR professionals. Empathy is one thing which I fully agree with you that it's going to be required in abundance in every sphere of work life and personal life, even in our neighborhoods and all. So well said, sir. I think your 5 dimensions of HR going forward also are very interesting, where wellness and well-being is very, very prominently placed before other aspects. So really, really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
I think we met. I'm glad you've consented and you're speaking to them. Yes, so many things to learn that we never thought would be possible.
Yeah, certainly. Yes, certainly.
And like you rightly said, yes, change managers would play a vital role, and mentors and coaches, I think, will play a vital role in the entire process of change now, because change this time is going to be pretty fast. Sometimes may have to be pushed against wishes also.
Absolutely.
Just one question while I'm on is that, see, all these days the educational institutions always approached industries or companies or corporates to come and engage with the institutions. But going forward, how do you see now institutions actually coming and engaging with the corporates? Because there's a lot of learning that we from our side will have to do, how the change is on, so that we can incorporate it here down into the system, in our educational system. At the same time, wouldn't there be a possibility of academicians playing a vital role in the entire exercise that you are undertaking now?
I think yes, that there are areas that we can collaborate, especially in terms of research, because there are new things that are evolving. So there may be different hypotheses that organizations may want to test. So in that process, there's definitely some projects and some level of collaboration that can be definitely done. And also the other dimension is about the perception management, right? The organization is continuously have to manage this perception of the external world, and that is another area that I think that is a good opportunity for us to collaborate with institutions and with the student force that we would see, and the professors with who can add a lot of value with the with good statistical tools and models. So with all that, I think it will be those kind of collaborations. I think we can definitely do.
Good evening, sir. So my question to you is, we understand that a lot of changes would be made in the near future. So how would we deal with the non-compliance or resistance from the employees to those changes?
Right. So that's I mean, it's a great question, and it brings me back to the first competence that we talked about.
Yes, sir. Change management.
Yeah. So therefore, we need to communicate. That will be the first thing that we need to do, to make sure that different types of people are understanding the intent of our communication and the content of the communication. Okay. That's going to be the key. First, they understand that, then you can slowly push them to next stage of adoption. If it, say for example, technology, right? So far we've been coming into the office. When you come into an office, we'll do a swipe, right? Attendance marking, swipe reader, then we'll get into the office. So the job is done. Now you're going to, let us say, you're going to work from home, right? Morning, Now you don't have a swipe reader, but you still have to mark attendance, right?
Yes.
So that first thing is you need to have a smartphone. You need to get comfortable with it. No two ways about it henceforth. Yeah. Then the apps have to be developed. Organizations have to do that. Then the individual has to ensure that that person punches or marks the attendance in the app. Right?
Yes.
So like this, there are several things that needs to be done step by step, so that we can make people ready for this and also adopt this. Once that is done, then it's easy for us to move to the next level of systems and performance enablement and things like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, my question will be, since this COVID situation has happened and there's a lot of work from home thing going on, so what changes can be expected in the handbook of the organizations, like with respect to work evaluation or gradation of knowledge, interpersonal relations with staff, and the promotional policies which have been given in the handbook? What changes can be made in that?
Yeah. First thing I must tell you is it's still evolving. So companies even now do not know what percentage of people will continue to work from home, right? Even companies which were having work from home work from home policies earlier, say large IT companies had it. They had 5%, 10% of people working from home at any point of time.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you have 90% of them working from home. So it's a completely different situation now, and it is still evolving. So therefore, we need to be alive to this evolving situation.